Hello. So yet again, just another random, spontaneous video. There's no plans to make it. It's the normal format. I just pick up the phone and click record. No script. And yeah, just see what comes out really. So I'm just talking about existence or life. Isness. So something just is. There's something here that doesn't switch off. There's a presence, a being, an aliveness. You know, you can feel that something's here. And that's what I'm referring to. Now it's it amazes, well, it baffles me how this is not talked about more, because it's everything. But it seems like the self, the imagined self, or that me character, overlooks this. It kind of misses the mark, because it seems like the self is, well, just completely self-obsessed with its stories, the imagined stories of its past, and potential stories of a projected, imagined future. So that imagined timeline seems to consume the self with thoughts, ideas, imaginations, and it seems like that is the reason why this is overlooked. So I'm not saying there's anything right or wrong with that, by the way. That's just what's happening. So in the story here, there's been several glimpses, self-realizations or no self-realization, awakenings, whatever you want to call it. And it's become clear that this existence is timeless. It's completely still, silent. There's just something that's here all the time. It doesn't move. It doesn't come from anywhere. Nothing's caused this to be. It can't go anywhere. And it's that I'm referring to. It's an absolute mystery. Nobody knows what this is. No one. So there's so many stories, religions, spiritual traditions and teachings. Loads of people on the internet will tell you what this is. I don't know what this is. I'm not claiming to know anything here. The message is that nobody knows what this is, but it's magical. It's unbelievable. When it's seen clearly, you can't actually describe it in words. And that's what I'm referring to, attempting to. And I don't know why either. I don't know why these videos are happening. It's just what's appearing to happen. So also, as I mentioned earlier, the glimpses, awakenings, self-realization or no self-realization, when it happened, it's so clear and obvious that there is no self. So that self that you may feel is embodied or inside the body, that is responsible for choices, has free will, can do things, it has done things, it's got a memory of a past, and it's got a plan for the future. The self that can travel around the world. The message here is that is completely imagined. All of that is just a thought or an imagination or idea that appears now in this timeless being, this existence that nobody knows what this is. And it seems like the videos that are being made here are repetitive, and that's the whole point, really. There's just this. It's so simple. It's it's a joke. You know, I'm not saying there's anything right or wrong with the story and the imagined self. I mean, here in the story, you know, I've got wife, boys, you know, I've got my own children and a career and lots of things going on. But in some bodies, and it seems to have happened here, that whole illusion or dream or the imagination of having a life can fall away or dissolve or collapse, whatever word you want to use. And then it's realized that there never has been a self already. There's no self already. There's no others. So there's no you, me, there's no them, there's no one over there. There's nothing else over there. There's only this. And it's amazing. I mean, when it was first seen clearly here. So I just want to say a massive thank you as well to anyone watching these videos and the comments, and because when it was first seen here, it was quite scary. It was terrifying. I felt so alone. Literally, I just felt because there's no one here. And when that's seen clearly, it can be devastating and disappointing. You know, if you've been on a seeking journey and you think there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, there's not. There's just this. So yeah, again, in the story, it was quite upsetting and disappointing. But now, you know, having made these videos and connected with others, I mean, I mentioned at the start of the video, it baffles me not many people talk about this, and you know, most people are so consumed with themselves that they can't see this. But at the same time, the resonance that that's happening from these videos with others has been overwhelming as well. So I really appreciate you for that, because it does seem that there are people out there that have had this no self realization, or if they haven't, they're very much in resonance with this message. So I know it can sound like a paradox, you know, me sitting here, you watching this video, and me showing appreciation for you, because that's me talking as a self, talking to another self. But that's the show. That's the movie. Or, well, it's like an empty puppet show, but there's no puppeteers. There's no one running the show. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's a mystery. Nobody knows how this is happening, or it's amazing how this timeless isness is pulling this off. Because relatively, there is a world and others and things going on. But ultimately, nothing's happening. And that's the paradox. That can't be explained, although there are speakers such as this here that are communicating this mystery, this paradox. But if it is seen clearly that everything is an imagined story, the relief and the freedom and the love, the unconditional love for it all, this whole show is running by itself. No one's ever done anything. So doing happens, but there's no one in that body. There's no self, there's no little me character inside that body making choices. It just all happens by itself. Just like the wind comes and goes, the weather changes, a bird will fly across from one side of the sky to the other, the sound of a dog barking or a car passing by, your breathing, your eyes blinking, blood pumping around your body. You're not doing any of that, and it's so arrogant of the self to claim everything. I mean, there's nothing right or wrong with that. It's just what's happening. In fact, it's quite when it's seen clearly, it's quite funny and embarrassing and humiliating at the same time to ever think that I was doing anything, or that she's ever done anything, or he's ever done anything. And I know this is going to sound, it can sound insane this. If you're watching this and you really feel like energetically that you are inside your body making choices, you're not going to resonate with this message, and that's okay. That's absolutely okay, you know. It's just that in some bodies, and I don't know why it's happened here, I wouldn't ever say I've been a massive spiritual seeker. Although I have, Krishnamurti and Muji and Sadhguru, I've been down a few rabbit holes, spiritual ones. But if there's a clear seeing of this no self-realization, it's game over. And when I say it's game over, I just mean it's game over for that imagined self character that I used to think was real. It's never been there. I remember on one of the glimpses I had, I actually said out loud, it's game over. There's no one doing anything. And that can be, seen as terrifying or scary, and it was here at first. But my God, it's unconditional love and freedom. It's amazing. So there's no fear. All psychological fear is gone. Guilt, shame, anxiety. These feelings can still arise, but they've got nothing to do with that imagined character. So this unknown isness, this is always here. But that imagined self isn't. It comes and goes all the time. So even if you're into your fitness, I do a lot of running, exercise, but in particular the running. I like to do 10k runs. When I'm doing a 10k run, there's absolutely, the self's never been there, because you're fully focused on the activity that you're doing. Or it could be a hobby or art, something where the saying says it all, you lose yourself in the activity. So that imagined self can come and go all the time. So that cannot be you. This is what you are. And that's the freedom and liberation. I love my wife and my children and my life. But it's such a weird place to be when you've had a no self-realization. Because I don't have any children, I don't have a wife, I don't have a life. Go and figure that one out. So this is what I'm saying, it's a paradox, it's a mystery, it's unbelievable how this can be seen through. But that's just what's happening. So any memories of the past? Well, there's no past. So if you have a memory of being a 10-year-old girl or a 10-year-old boy, then that memory is not an old memory. This is timeless. That memory is a brand new appearance that arises now in this. And that's how incredible this is, how the imagined self can create an imagined timeline, a linear timeline of events, and piece them all together. So it appears that it continues or continued or will continue. This doesn't continue. That's the illusion. So you've never done anything. And ultimately, nothing's actually ever happened. Nothing can happen. It's always only ever this. But if you're watching this completely identified as a self in an imagined narrative of time, then this message won't make sense. I can't make sense of this message. The me can't understand this message, because this message is pointing to a timeless being, a timeless isness, the reality, whereas the imagined self is time. The self can only experience time, but time isn't, and therefore you aren't. So you don't actually have to do anything. You just think that you do. So thoughts can arise of things that you need to do. I mean, you must have experienced it where a thought will arise to do something and you don't end up doing it, or you do it in a different way. It's because you're not in the body. It's not you doing anything. This does it all. But yeah, once again, thank you, like, so much for resonating with the message here, because it can be a lonely place. If I'm not sure how many people are watching this and the seekers, completely identified with being a self, or how many people are watching this and they've had a full clear seeing of this, and also in the story, how long ago you had that clear seeing. Was it recently, like here, or was it years ago? But it can, here it was a difficult place to be when it was realized. And YouTube as a platform, is amazing. Because, and I've mentioned this on a lot of previous videos, this is not the type of message you can go around having a conversation with your friends and family and work colleagues about. Well, that's certainly the case here anyway. And it still is. And it could be that one of my friends or family watches this video, and that's okay. That's just what's happening or not going to happen. But I don't think there's any advantage or anything to gain by going around talking to people that are completely identified with that self, that me character, about this message, because it's not going to be understood. This can't be understood. The me can't understand this message, and there's no advice here or on offer, or any tips of how you can have a no self realization. I mean, who would do that? There's no one inside the bodies. It either happens or it doesn't. And again, that's why it's strange how these videos are happening, but they are. But yeah, thank you